Doormat. Glorified practice. Guaranteed win. College football teams could have been forgiven for thinking that about Indiana when they saw the Hoosiers on their upcoming schedule. But that was before Curt Cignetti arrived in Bloomington. Top-ranked Indiana was one of the most hapless college football programs, with more losses all-time than any other FBS program in history before the Cignetti era began. Now, the Hoosiers are a wrecking ball and one of the most remarkable stories in sports. What they've achieved in 2 seasons is nothing short of historic. And ahead of Monday's college football playoff national championship game between No. 1 Indiana and the No. 10 Miami Hurricanes, the Hoosiers' quick progress has us wondering, what are the greatest to say? There are plenty of worthy candidates from MLB for this list. Most recently, the Rangers and Diamondbacks both went from 100-loss teams in 2021 to unlikely World Series competitors in 2023, though neither has been able to follow up on that success since. In 2010, the Giants won their first of 3 World Series of the decade, just a couple of years removed from consecutive 90-loss seasons in San Francisco. There's also the Rays, who made it to the World Series in 2008 after 3 straight last-place finishes. And there's the unlikely championships of the 1997 and 2003 Marlins. But the curse-breaking 2016 Cubs stand out here for history's sake. Not only had it been 108 years since the last time they won a championship, but they also finished in 5th place for 5 straight seasons from 2010-14. They lost a lot: 102 games in 2012, 96 in 2013, 89 in 2014, before making a drastic 24-win improvement in 2015, a season that ended with them getting swept in the NLCS. A year later, they won 103 games, took the NL Central by 17.5 games and had 8 more wins than the next closest club. With a surprise World Series boost from Kyle Schwarber, who tore his ACL just 6 months prior, the 2016 Cubs finally put an end to the century-long curse of the Billy Goat. 9. 2001 New England Patriots. The Patriots won their first Super Bowl in the 2001 season, a year after finishing 5-11. New England went 8-8 in 1999. The 2001 season will forever be remembered as the start of Tom Brady's Hall of Fame career. An injury to starter Drew Bledsoe forced Brady, then a backup, into action, and the former 6th-round NFL draft pick never gave the job back. Including the playoffs that year, Brady went 14-3 as a starter, 11-3 in the regular season. He led a game-winning field goal drive as time expired to beat the greatest show on turf, Rams, in Super Bowl 36. The Pats beat the Raiders in the divisional round and the Steelers in Pittsburgh in the AFC Championship game to reach the Super Bowl. That 2001 season started the Patriots dynasty. New England won 6 Super Bowls and appeared in 3 others from 2001-18. The franchise won 3 Lombardi trophies from 2001-04. 8. 1969 New York Mets. As much as the Mets brand was being the lovable losers, by the end of the 101-loss 1967 season, failing miserably was wearing thin and getting old. Attendance dropped at Shea Stadium, and it was no longer a fun pastime to watch the Mets trip over themselves. The good news: Tom Seaver won the NL Rookie of the Year award in 1967 and was quickly emerging as the best pitcher in the big leagues. Alongside Seaver, southpaw Jerry Koosman and an eventual Hall of Famer, right-handed flamethrower Nolan Ryan, formed a formidable pitching trio that turned the team's fortunes around. Manager Gil Hodges provided the discipline and faith needed to transform the hapless Mets into a miracle. In 1968, they improved to a 9th-place finish in the NL, recording 73 wins for the first time in team history. Then came 1969. New York won 38 of its final 49 games and finished in first place in the NL with a 100-62 record. The Miracle Mets swept the Atlanta Braves in the NLCS 3-0 and defeated the powerhouse Baltimore Orioles 4-1 to become the world champions of baseball. Who doesn't love a good underdog story? 7. 1992 Dallas Cowboys. Coming out of the 1980s, the Cowboys were one of the NFL's worst teams. They went 1-15 in 1989, Jerry Jones' first season as owner. But 3 years later, they won the franchise's third Super Bowl and first in 15 years, blowing out the Buffalo Bills 52-17 in Super Bowl 27. Before taking the Super Bowl that year, the Cowboys won 7 games in 1990, followed by 11 in 1991, when the franchise made its first playoff appearance in 6 years but lost in the divisional round. Dallas was truly a juggernaut down the stretch of that 92 season. It won its final 5 games, including the playoffs, by double digits. The team won 3 Super Bowls in a 4-year span, boasting a top 5 scoring offense and defense in each of those seasons. Hall of Famer coach Jimmy Johnson and players Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin were integral to the Cowboys' run of success at the start of the 90s. 6. 2003 USC Trojans. This isn't exactly the same kind of turnaround as Indiana, since USC has claimed 11 national championships in football, as well as having 8 Heisman Trophy winners. But there was a period of time when the Trojans program was struggling. USC went 5-7 in 2000 and then 6-6 in 2001, which was Pete Carroll's first season. With a team that included players like Carson Palmer and Troy Polamalu, the Trojans went 11-2 in 2002. And then in 2003, with a young Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush, USC went 12-1 and shared the national championship with LSU. The Trojans won the national championship again in 2004, beating Oklahoma, and played for another title in 2005, but they lost to Texas in one of the greatest college football games in history. Under Carroll, USC would go on to win at least 11 games through the 2008 season. 5. 1980-81 Boston Celtics. Despite having already established themselves as a perennial powerhouse, the Celtics struggled in the 1978-79 season, finishing with the second-worst record in the NBA at 29-53. But that soon changed with the addition of Larry Bird. Larry Legend was actually drafted 6th overall in 1979, but opted to return to Indiana State, finishing as the unanimous National College Player of the Year. In the 1979-80 season, his impact was felt immediately, leading Boston to a 61-21 record as a rookie, along with an Eastern Conference Finals appearance. The following season, Bird would go on to lead them to victory in the NBA Finals after averaging 21.2 points per game, 10.9 rebounds per game and 5.5 assists per game in his sophomore campaign. That 1980-81 season would mark the first of 3 titles in a 6-year span for Boston, along with 5 NBA Finals appearances from 1981 to 1987, Fox Sports Research. 4. 1981 San Francisco 49ers. In Hall of Famer Bill Walsh's first 2 seasons as head coach, the 49ers won just 2 and 6 games in 1979 and 80, respectively. But they broke out with 13 wins in the 1981 season. The Niners then beat the New York Giants in the divisional round and Dallas Cowboys in the NFC Championship game, which included Dwight Clark's iconic game-winning touchdown known as the catch, to reach Super Bowl 16. San Francisco then beat the Cincinnati Bengals for the franchise's first Lombardi Trophy. The 1981 campaign marked Hall of Fame quarterback Joe Montana's first as a starter. Over the next 9 seasons, the 49ers won 4 Super Bowls. Only 9 games were played in 1982, the year after the Niners won their first Super Bowl, due to a strike. But San Francisco rattled off 10 wins in 1983, but it lost in the conference championship game, beginning a streak of 16 consecutive double-digit win seasons for the franchise. Ben Arthur. 3. 1999 St. Louis Rams. Winner of just 5 games in 1997 and 4 games in 98, the Rams rattled off 13 wins in the 1999 regular season and reached Super Bowl 34, where they took down the Tennessee Titans for the franchise's first Super Bowl victory. Hall of Famers Kurt Warner and Isaac Bruce connected on a 73-yard touchdown with less than 2 minutes left to secure the Lombardi Trophy. That season kicked off the greatest show on turf. Rams, who had the NFL's top offense for 3 straight years 1999-2001 under coach Mike Martz, first the offensive coordinator 1999 and then head coach 2001 for the franchise during that era. Warner, Bruce, Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk and Torrey Holt were some of the key members of the offense during that time. After winning the Super Bowl, the Rams went 10-6 in 2000, losing in the wild card, but they reached the Super Bowl again in 2001 after a franchise record 14 wins during the regular season. Ben Arthur. 2. 2015-16 Leicester City. As preposterous as it would have been for Leicester City's supporters to dream of a title ahead of the 2015-16 Premier League season, when the Foxes somehow defied 5,000-1 odds to become champions of soccer's most hotly contested domestic circuit, doing so 2 years earlier would have been straight up impossible. Back in 2014, Leicester wasn't even in the Premier League. It had spent a full decade toiling in England's lower divisions, including a season in the third tier, before winning the championship in 2014-15 and, with it, automatic promotion back to the big time. Their stay wasn't expected to last. Many predicted that they'd be relegated by the spring of 2016. Instead, under Italian manager Claudio Ranieri, the humble Midlands-based club outpaced usual juggernauts Manchester City, Arsenal and Manchester United to finish atop the Premier League. Leicester's success at the top was fleeting. Despite being rewarded with a 4-year extension, Ranieri was fired in early 2017 en route to a 12th-place finish. These days, the Foxes are back in the second tier. Yet a decade later and still the team's only English crown since kicking off 142 years ago, it remains among the most profoundly unlikely true stories in the history of global sports. Doug McIntyre. 1. 2025 Indiana Hoosiers. What head coach Curt Cignetti has done in such a short period of time is remarkable. And if his Hoosiers team beats Miami for the national championship Monday night, there will be no doubt they've earned this number 1 spot. Oftentimes, when coaches are hired, they have some kind of plan for how long it could take for the program to have success. Maybe you win a few more games in year 1 than the team did the previous year and keep improving year after year until you reach your goals down the road. Cignetti's overhaul was immediate. He took a Hoosiers team that went 4-8 in 2022 and 3-9 in 2023 and turned it into a college football playoff team in year 1 and a Big Ten champion, and maybe